Are you feeling overwhelmed by the state of the world? Climate change, a pandemic, plus murmurs of more to come, social and political volatility, uncertainty about the future. It's really easy to feel drained or powerless. But what if personal growth could not only help you find peace, but also energize your life and provide a sense of purpose in all this underlying chaos? What if it is the podium for living a more resilient and fulfilling life while also facing global challenges without feeling depressed or anxious? This video looks at the evolution of consciousness as a practical result of personal growth, not just so you can act with purpose on something that has meaning to you, but also so collectively we can aim to make a bigger difference on the more complex issues that require a creative, non-linear approach. So why is personal growth important and why now? This is a very unartistic depiction of the evolution of consciousness. The original vertical was developed by the Barrett Value Center, but I've also merged in a couple of other thoughts here. Bottom levels are basic needs, survival. Next level up has to do with relationship. And the next level up is self-esteem. On those bottom three levels, we're talking about survival and relationship with self and relationship with others. You'll see on the left-hand side, I've got a black zone there. That's because those are the shadow side of life. And that's where we're seeing greed, caution, control, domination, blame, not accepting responsibility for one's life, authority and status as being the relationship with oneself. The majority of companies, the majority of people are operating in these lower three zones. You can see why it's difficult to move out of force and manipulation, which is on the left-hand side there, into a place of genuine and true power. When you go through that messy bit called transformation, where you release your fears, a lot of organizations simply do not do that. They actually succumb to them more often than not, and that's where we end up with things like dark agile, running to distraction, opiates, addictions to this, and so forth. It's a way of deflecting, avoiding, distracting, and not stepping into the transformational zone to release fears and then move to a higher level of service. The only company that I know of that's reached the service level is Patagonia. It's not an easy path because it means making hard decisions. It means being aligned with your values and being true to yourself. There's also a shift in thinking that moves from linear analytical, seeing everything through a very narrow lens, reductionist approach, to something that's more holistic and expansive. So when you invest in your personal growth, you're essentially moving from the bottom three rungs of survival into the higher levels of service, fulfillment, self-actualization, moving through that transformational zone and confronting the fears, being responsible for your life. David Hawkins, author of Power versus Force, published in 1994, stated in 2006 in Transcending the Levels of Consciousness that 78% of humanity operates beneath the 200-point measurement mark, if you look at this particular graph, which is basically survival. And you can see decisions reflect that. Power versus Force shared a verticality of human consciousness that certainly gave me a different way of making sense of what I was seeing in the world at that time. It also gave me an emotional framework to witness what level I was operating from based on my emotions and by observing my decisions as well. Measurement was done by muscle testing, still used by practitioners in Eastern Europe. I took my first book, written in 2003, to an Eastern European chiropractor and had it calibrated, so I had some confidence it would be helpful. But not everyone buys David Hawkins' assessment because it explored the expression of ego, wasn't validated by scientific measurement familiar to Western thinking. Now, you may be asking yourself, how can personal growth give me more energy when the world feels so heavy? I used to be very disheartened by eco-anxiety. Truthfully, I still go there from time to time because I've watched populations of birds drop, destruction of habitat, species like wolves, grizzlies, coyotes that are key to the health of ecosystems be persecuted with hatred or fear that is completely incomprehensible. My filmmaker dad dedicated his entire life to providing a wake-up call to municipal, provincial, and federal level decision makers Along the way, it felt like no one was listening. Problems were too big, minds were closed. And here I am attempting to do the same thing. My goal is business, and now it's personal. I realized that the energy to act comes from within. Personal growth then isn't just about feeling better. It isn't just about strengthening resilience and confidence in your ability to handle the toughest challenges. It's about sourcing the energy to contribute meaningfully, to act with purpose, and to pull yourself out of the ditch where it gets so discouraging it feels hopeless. I discovered that continuously expanding my self awareness, shifting my perspective, intentionally strengthening my resilience, and maintaining my emotional and mental health really led to more energy and definitely a sense of control over my destiny. In reflection, which is an important critical practice, do you feel energized by your life right now? Or are you running on empty? Are you feeling distracted, or are you confronting the conversations you need to be having about yourself, even if they're not comfortable and might be difficult? Personal growth is about recharging your energy, not through ignoring the world's problems, but by cultivating the mental and emotional strength and self awareness to face them with clarity and purpose. It's about developing grit, inner strength to do that. This inner work allows for more creative thinking, more resilience, more action, which energizes at least your personal and certainly collective efforts. The third big reason why your personal growth is so pivotal now is illustrated by the work of the Stockholm Resilience Project, which developed a science-based framework comprised of 9 planetary boundaries that regulate the stability and resilience of planetary life support systems. As of 2023, we have exceeded 6 out of the 9. So if you're feeling anxious about the future, some eco-anxiety, this supports your experience and gives you one of the reasons why. Survival as the primary purpose of existence consumes planetary resources at a ridiculously accelerated rate. Earth Overshoot Day, the day when we've used up nature's budget, was August 2nd in 2023. My point is that your personal growth, your ability to work across generations, to work with others who think differently, who hold different values, is key to facilitating a shift, preferably a leap in consciousness from survival through the chaotic part in the transformational middle to attain somewhere on that higher spectrum, a level of service and at every level, personal, business, or community. Most of my podcast listeners or video subscribers are aware that I spent 9 years homeless after my business crashed rather epically in 2008. I faced the question of, do I do anything to survive? When I looked at desperation as a response, I also looked at a creative learning approach. If my experience of not making desperate moves could help someone else, then the experience was worthwhile. The underlying question always is, who do I become from the things I experience in my life? And the answer lies in a pretty relentless Indiana Jones level commitment to being the best human possible out of the worst circumstances. It's not about being perfect. It's about a fearless approach to learning, exploring, and to valuing the intelligence of all life forms. We need emotional maturity and emotional mastery to move through those dark emotional passages, through the transformation zone, into the zone where humanity can be of benefit to the planet, to ourselves, to each other, really a much more expansive place of compassion and care. Essentially underlying that is moving from exploitation to life affirming. 3 practical action steps. I love the number 3. 1, pay attention to your heart energy. Ask why until you identify the core message your heart is trying to convey. Are you feeling half-hearted, full-hearted, or no heart at all? Is there complete apathy? You want to find out what charges you and what depletes you, and obviously do more of what charges you and less of what depletes you. Start with small actions. Think big. Identify what you'd like to focus your energy and creative talent on, then take steps toward that. So this is very much out of resilience approach. Start small, get some wins built up, and then move forward. 3, find others who share your vision, people who agree and people who bring different thinking to move forward. So this is where we take this aversion to conflict and fear of conflict and confront it. What am I exactly afraid of? Because If you're afraid of hearing somebody's view different from your own, you're gonna have a very difficult time working with anybody, unless you wanna just talk to yourself in the mirror, which is not as interesting as talking with people who hold a different view. Not to insult anybody, but diversity of view, diversity of worldview is very essential if solutions are going to have wider benefit and more durability in the wider world. The world might feel overwhelming, but personal growth gives you the energy to live with purpose, resilience, and peace. It's about finding your place in the world, not as a bystander, but as an active participant in shaping the future. Resilience is not made of complacency. That's where your personal growth fits in. It's the place where you get to build that muscle, build that strength, and do it with other people. I'm Donna Jones. I care deeply about this incredible planet we live on. It's an oasis in the galaxy. So we have a unique opportunity to evolve our consciousness and our compassion for all species and contribute positively to the world with the decisions we make. Doesn't matter what your starting point is. Support by liking, subscribing, commenting, and sharing because it helps me understand if this content is valuable to you and what you would like to see more of. Thanks for watching. See you next time.